the main issue is that some politicians who are scared, conniving with some forces, then, as it was then in Abuja, decided to team up to incarcerate me. The genesis of the whole issue is that they were interested in making sure that I did not participate in the last general election, and also to dent my political image. Otherwise, like the Supreme Court did say, a company took a loan. I'm not a signatory to the account of the company. I'm not a director in the company. That is there. And then you now look at an innocent man and say that because I once worked in that company, that I am guilty of diversion of loan. There's no law in Nigeria as guilty diversion of loan in any of our legal books. There's nothing called diversion of loan. And that is what the Supreme Court has said, that there is no law in our statute book that has to do with diversion of loan. But more importantly, they took me to Federal High Court. All efforts to compromise the judge at the Federal High Court failed. They did everything, and the man refused that he will not be compromised, that justice must be done in this matter. Even the judge who was used to try to compromise the judge who gave me, who declared me innocent in the Federal High Court, I know him. And at the right time, I will call his name. Because we must clean our judiciary. Some people cannot, if you go to the prison and see innocent Nigerians that are suffering, some people have been there for 10 years, awaiting trial. Some people are just there because they don't have anybody, they can't even hire lawyers. And some judges and some people will just take joy in dealing with innocent people, especially the poor. However, I got justice based on the integrity of the judge who handled the case at the Federal High Court. And myself, I was declared innocent. They proceeded to the Court of Appeal, still with what they want to gain, because of the Paris Club money that was at hand at that time. And they were able to compromise some of the justices, because you cannot, there's no judge who will say, today, I am a lawyer with about 33 years experience. I practice law. I hold a master's degree in law. So I should be able to know my bounds. I didn't sign a check. I didn't sign an agreement. I'm not a director. I'm not a shareholder of the company. You said that I'm the alter ego. The managing director of the company is there, alive. The directors of the companies are there, they are alive. None of them were invited. None of them was questioned. The EFCC did not even visit the factory to obtain evidence. Nexim Bank witness that they called is there in the records, said that we gave this company, it didn't say they gave me, that we gave the company a loan of 1.2 billion. and that they followed all the procedures, and that the loan was legally granted to the company. That is their witness. Not my witness, their own witness. And that this, as we are saying, as is specifying, that the company has paid a capital of 1.2 billion that they borrowed. And that as is giving evidence, that the company has paid 700 million as interest. And that the company has 4 months left for the tenure of the loan, which is 5 years. And then they have, what is left for them is 24 million. And they went further to say, do you think they can pay? They can pay it. They are our good customers. We did not bring any case against them. This is evidence of Nexim Bank. Go to all the records of the court. A loan that is legally obtained. My dear brother and gentlemen, money laundering is money acquired from an illegal source, and then you try to launder it, like somebody who go, if your shirt or dress is dirty, you go take it to the laundry, and then you clean it up, wash it. That is what is called money laundering, not money got from a legal source. And there is nowhere a judge will say he does not understand the word money laundering. Then a company, I'm not a shareholder, he said that I'm the alter ego of the company. And that is why they said this thing. Just because one of the justices was promised that we were going to take him to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And so he decided to sacrifice me and to convince other people and write the judgment. There's a lot of time we're in this country, and because of the parish club money. So it is not, why I'm speaking this today is that we have to clean up our judicial system. We have to clean up what is ever system we have in this country. And then you put me in prison. I didn't say, nobody said that 8 months. Even the so-called petition they sent from Popogri never mentioned anything about money laundering. In his evidence, all he said before the court, which you can go and say, he was talking about that the Guinea house was undervalued. That's all his evidence. He didn't say there wasn't said the money that the Delta State government undervalued the sale of the estate. And for your record purposes, because it's better we put the records clear when people talk. The process of the sale of Guinea House was started, and the company that bought it, the Delta State government sold it for 500 million naira. Now, the company now paid 50 million. When the company paid the 50 million they couldn't pay. So His Excellency Emmanuel Uduaghan now took the matter back to the State Executive Council, and the State Executive Council revoked the sale of the Guinea House, which was sold for 500 million naira. And the State Executive Council decided that they should now put it for public, advertise it. We bidded. The company bidded. The reserve price for the house was 720 million. That's what we later got. The reserve price for the house increase of 220 million from the original sale. Akpeki was the commissioner for housing. Now, we now proceeded and bidded for the house for 805 million naira. While Costain, you know Costain bidded 700 million naira. Costain is an international company that everybody knows. Costain bid there for that house for 700 million. We bid there for 805 million. And then the Delta State government now decided to give the company. After that, we were now given 6 months to pay. The company was given 6 months to pay for the bid. In the course of the process, we had a contract. That is, the Swimming International, which you see there, had a contract of 1.5 billion from the Delta State government. And then Swimming now approached Nexim Bank and said, please, can you give us a loan to enable us to execute this contract? And so in between the period Nexim approved the loan and the time the money was released by the bank, following all their process, in the meantime, Nexim Bank sent in their valuers to value the swimming company and valued at 4.5 billion. His record with a forced sale of 3.2 billion. Forced sale is assuming you are selling it right now without planning all the due process. It was valued at 3.2 billion by Nexim external valuers, and that was the security we offered to Nexim. Say, okay, you take it. If they are not able to meet the sale, so it was clean. So in between the time the Nexim Bank was not going to release the 120, because the original agreement was that Nexim Bank was going to pay directly to the manufacturers in China, not to us. But Nexim Bank was not able to raise the foreign exchange that was required. And so we wrote back to Nexim Bank and said, please, these companies cannot continue to wait. The contract that they have with the Delta State government is for 1 year. If you cannot raise the 1 million, the foreign exchange, give us the money. Give the company the money. And then the company will now source their own foreign exchange. And Nexim Bank wrote back to Swimming and said, okay, come and take your money. We will give you the money, whatever you want to do with the money, but you must pay us our interest. And so a sister company that was importing payloader, graders, construction equipment had their money already there in China. And the Swimming approached and said, please, because of the time we have with Delta State government, can you please help us to pay for this 30%? Because you must pay 30%. I'm saying, before Mike, go and ask anybody who's doing China business. If you want them to manufacture something for you, you must pay 30%. So they now pay that is at 332 million. They now pay the 30% to enable the the company to manufacture, while they were waiting for the release of the fund from Nexim Bank. So when the money was released by Nexim Bank, the company now said, okay, look, we have your money now. What do we pay? They said, okay, if instead of transferring it to our account, and then from there we're transferring it again to Delta State government, why don't you pay straight to Delta State and give us your receipt for the payment of the money into the Delta State government account, and we'll go and sort it. That is the whole story. So when the money was they paid to Delta State government and got back the receipt and handed over the this thing. That is the money that they said is money laundering. There's no other thing. That is the story of what it says money laundering. And that is why I, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a former commissioner, a former special advisor, a former chairman of a party, a former director of a Nexim Bank, a former chairman of Raw Materials and Development Council, was dumped into prison for 1 year and 6 days. How can I know? I am very, very bitter. I am bitter. Why? What have I done? Because you just want me not to be in circulation? If you think you're a man and there's an election, meet me in the field. I came from the scratch to what I am today. If I lose the election, we formed PDP in Delta State. PDP was formed in my PDP first secretary is my chambers in Asaba here. That is the first secretariat of PDP in Delta State. Jesse Bori is there. I was the first state secretary of PDP. I was the engineer in Asaba. The state chairman was in Warri. Our governorship candidate was in Warri, Ibori. Everybody, Amori was in Warri. All of them were. I was the man here receiving the bullet in Asaba. And then the people, a structure that I built from the scratch, use that structure for your information, for the record purposes. When Okowa contested governor, apart from what I did for him, which anytime the history is there, I approached Okowa. Then he was contesting. I said, I want to bring the whole people from Delta North together. Whoever has annoyed you or you have a quarrel with, forget it. You stoop to conquer. And who was that person he was quarreling with? It was Ned Nwoko. I went to Ned Nwoko's house and told Ned that the problem between you and Okowa, I want to settle it. He stated his own side of the problem issue to me. And I said, don't worry. I came back to Asaba. I met Okowa in his house in GRA in Asaba there. And I told him the same thing. And I said, I want us. I said, you are looking for something. For whatever it is worth. I want us to go to Ned's house. He resisted it. I said, no, he must listen to my advice. Eventually he agreed. And told me what I said today. I called Ned and told him that I'm bringing Okowa to. He said, it's not possible. I said, I am coming with him. I drove with Okowa from his house to Ned's house and brought peace between the two of them. I'm not saying the facts, you cannot dispute facts that are there. I brought peace. Before then, he has tried to loop because he lost election to Okowa in the Senate. He has tried to involve Okowa and Hillary in the old case of arms, this thing, trying to hook Okowa with all criminal, these things, and Okowa was able to manage this thing with Hillary, tried more this thing, and this thing. And so the thing got so bad. I was the man who brought peace between the two of them. It's not this there. So if you say bitter, I'm not only bitter, I am very, very bitter because I was innocent. As means an offense I committed, I can understand. But thank God I've been vindicated by the Supreme Court.
Yes, you've been vindicated. You did not commit any crime. But Nigerians have this perception that when very wealthy Nigerians get into problems with the law, they usually come out scot-free. Is this not the same case that...
But you have seen my case. It is not a question, it's a question of, you can go and read the law. I have given you the genesis. Did anybody tell you I took government money? Did anybody tell you that I duped him? Did anybody said he made a report against me? Even the Kwekwe petition did not say anything about money laundering. He said that the beginning house was undervalued. That's what he said. He didn't say anything. Did anybody say that Swimi stole money? Loan. My brother, is loan. Guaranteed. Over 300% guarantee was given for the loan. The factory is still there, doing very well. Doing very, very well. Do you know what? Before this judgment, go and look at EFCC website. They put the factory for sale. Before this judgment of the 7th, about 2 months, a month before it, they put the factory for sale in their website. They want to sell the factory. When they were supposed to be waiting for the Supreme Court judgment, it took my lawyers to threaten EFCC that we are now going to start contempt proceeding before they ran away. Go and check the EFCC website. They wanted to sell the factory before the judgment.
Since it will seem as if there was an orchestrated...
But that's what I'm saying. That's it. Yes.
Who could use your political associate?
He's not hidden. I have said it. Sen Nwaoboshi is the main man. Himself and Malami. Malami's SA on the 2nd of July called me on the phone and apologized to me. I have it in this phone. I have it here.
What steps are you taking to retrieve your stolen mandate?
My brother, all I know is that I'm in tribunal, and I will not go more than that because I am a lawyer. The facts I'm putting on the ground are indisputable facts. First, they wanted to assassinate me. They came to my house to assassinate me. I escaped by 2 minutes. I escaped. They took me to the code of conduct. They did everything through the code of conduct. The judge in the code of conduct threw their case back. I said, get the code of conduct bureau to charge him. Attorney General's office took me to the code of conduct bureau under Malami and charged me to code of conduct because they looked at anywhere to get at me. They couldn't reach me, so they went and charged me. The chairman, the judge said, you don't have the power. Told the Attorney General's office, you don't have the power to bring this man before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Take the case back to the Code of Conduct Bureau. Let the Code of Conduct Bureau bring him before us. Till today, did you hear the case? I was already charged. The law is clear. There is only the Code of Conduct Bureau that can bring you before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. But because they have done everything, they couldn't get at me. The Attorney General's office now decided to take me to the Code of Conduct Bureau. And the Code of Conduct Bureau, Tribunal said, no, Attorney General's office, you don't have power to bring him before the Code of Conduct Bureau, Code of Conduct Tribunal. So if you have anything, take your case to the Code of Conduct Bureau. Let the Code of Conduct Bureau investigate it and bring him before us. Immediately went back. Did you hear it again? So they have done everything. They tried to blackmail me, prosecute me, say everything they want to say. I remained committed to the fact that I have done nothing. Because all of them were targeted, the same group of people. The time they came here, sealed my house in Asaba. I went to court in Asaba, sealed everything. I went to court. Then we went to another high court. The judge in the high court said that he's surprised that Attorney General's office will go to the extent of pursuing an innocent person. So, if I say it, who is the head of? I was the commissioner. Who is the head of a ministry? It's not the commissioner or the minister or anything. They did everything. Just the Paris Club money.
So, one of the Uber candidates in this last election in Delta State has continually opined that there was a deliberate attempt by, he mentioned the governor of Delta State, I don't know whatever would have brought this into this, the deliberate disposition to take you himself, that's Chief Baggy now, and Chief James Igori out of circulation in the politics of Delta State. By your premonition, do you see any fact to that?
There is no game saying the fact that the people who did this thing are the people in PDP. It's not in doubt. But I will not go to I'm on camera. I want when I speak, I challenge whoever is there to go to court. I don't mince words about what I said. I am not hiding, and I say it before the camera. And if they want to go too far, I will open up more. Of course, I will open up more when we get to. Even I've told him, I'm saying it, that judge will never go to, because if he goes to, I will write petition. I will appear, because I have facts on him. And every day I get more facts on this thing. What I'm saying is that all the plans that they did and everything, I know the people who are involved. I know everybody. one of the reasons why these things were done was they don't want me to participate in the election. That is the main thing. There's no other thing about that. But I'm not going to go to the extent of saying outside the facts I can go before the whole world and say this is what was done. Because, my dear, I wish late Buruji, Senator Red Buruji was alive. He would have said more. All the plans, how he had to intervene at a material point. I said, I'm going to call it. You imagine, let me tell you, the day they gave the judgment, as they finished the judgment, on the 1st of July, a judge in Enugu Federal High Court gave injunction sealing all my properties on my bank account in an ex parte application. I don't know whether you understand it. They gave a judgment. The judge, a Federal High Court judge, gave an ex parte order, sealed all my bank accounts, sealed all my company's account, sealed all my lands, everything I have in the world. They went on this what do you call this? This thing. Yes. Any company, anything that's linked to me, linked to my children, linked to everything, he gave an expected order in Enugu for matters that the locus is in Asaba and Delta State. A judge gave injunction in Enugu. In ICOM. On the ground that sometimes, about 15 years ago, that there was a company that took loan, and that a company that I was the director then guaranteed the loan. So that company, after 10 years, more than 15 years, that I was the director in that company, and the loan had gone far, and so that she gave an ex parte order in Enugu. Justice Buba gave an ex parte order in Enugu against me, against my property, and the next day after giving that ex parte order, he transferred the case to Asaba Federal High Court on the grounds of territorial jurisdiction. If you have no territorial jurisdiction, why do you have the jurisdiction to give an order for all issues that happen in Delta State? Everything, transaction, everything was done in Delta. Why did they go and file the case at the Federal High Court in Enugu? And then you gave the ex parte order in Enugu. And then after giving the ex parte order, you transfer the case to Asaba Federal High Court. Can you really understand? I'm calling name. He gave the ex parte order in Enugu, Federal High Court in Enugu. And then you say you are transferring the case on territorial jurisdiction. After you have done, and you know, when you give an ex parte order on this thing, before they will manage the thing and bring it to Asaba and do everything they will do for the case to come, because the ex parte order is still running down, election would have gone. I had to now, through my lawyers, now went to AMCOM. And we said, AMCOM, why this, others to a story. However, we're not able, we came to the Federal High Court here, filed an application in the Federal High Court here, and got AMCOM to file, and then AMCOM now came and said they want to settle with us. That they want a settlement with us. That they are not ready to continue with this action. You can understand the point I'm making. And that's because all they wanted was to incapacitate me financially, incapacitate me in everywhere, block all my accounts, block everything I have, so that I will not be able to participate in the election.
Now you talked about cleaning the judiciary because it's corrupt. What would your advice be to your parties at the center?
You know what I have done to do? I'm waiting for the Supreme Court, because even though they have made what we call some pronouncements on the judgment in my own, where they freed myself and my companies of not being involved in money laundering. The two companies also went to the Supreme Court. They are just waiting for them. I am going to sell that property. We are going to sell that property. It's a 12-story building. It's the tallest building in Apapa. We are going to sell it, and we are going to use it to establish what do you call it? A fund to fight injustice in Nigeria's judicial system. I have already finished my discussion with the directors of the company. That is my contribution to this. We're going to sell it. Before I had this cancellation, they have offered us 5 billion for the property. And we know by now it will have more than 200%. We are going to sell it. And we're going to name certain people who are involved in this thing. We're going to give them status and name them in front of that. I have this thing. We're going to sell it and make it as my contribution to Nigerian society to fight injustice in Nigeria. My friend, if I, at this level, can be dealt with like this in an offense, I was in prison in Kirikiri. I had discussed with so many young men. Some can't even feed. You need to see the food they are eating. Some are living nothing better than, they're not living better than dogs, managing their life. When I came to Kirikiri prison, there was a boy. He came to me. And you know what the boy is, I was not interviewing. I said, what is your offense? He said that he had an affair with a friend. And because the boy is from a poor home, didn't know whatever to do, they took him to court and gave him life imprisonment. Said it was rape. The boy is in Kirikiri. Life imprisonment. Is it a society? That he had an affair with his own girlfriend. And then they dump him there. Of course, you know what that happens now. What that means, they were able to get judgment and sentence him to life imprisonment and say it was rape. Can you imagine that type of thing?